We've got another question that comes from Ray Casey.
Great tracts of Australian land has been transferred over to Indigenous people, completely out of proportion to their numbers in Australia, and we're all Australians. And you talk about discrimination, I see this as reverse discrimination. So why are politicians so pushing for this sort of handing everything back to Aboriginals, when really we're all here, we're all Australians?
Marcia Langton.
Well, I don't think that your facts are right, sir, and certainly not correct for New South Wales. Everything hasn't been handed back to the Aborigines of New South Wales, more's the pity, but so I don't know what place in Australia you're talking about other than some parts of Northern Australia where Aboriginal people are still in the majority.
Does the nature of the question, does that sort of indicate to you that there still is significant opposition out there based on?
Well, there's an enormous mythology, and we all know what it consists of. We heard it with, Pauline Hanson, and we've heard it many times on radio. You only have to open up Facebook to see it. Aborigines get everything. They don't work. They all get drunk. They don't contribute to society. They didn't fight in the wars. Might I say that next year I hope that furphy doesn't get up, because there were Aborigines that fought in every war from the Boer War onwards, and I don't want to hear it next year.
I don't think the gentleman was saying that.
No, well, I'm just saying, there are just so many mythologies about Aborigines, and they come from people who've never met Aborigines, never read anything. I don't know where they hear all this stuff from. There must be special clubs that I'm not a member of, and...
So do you want to get back into it?
I just wish it would stop. I just wish it would stop, and that people would actually rely on facts instead of repeating something they heard from somebody, heard it from somebody, heard it from somebody.
Isn't part of that, is it? Or the handing over of land back to Indigenous Australians?
Well, that was that. Can I?
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
Those Mabo and Wick were the two decisions of the High Court that acknowledged that there was a species of land title, native title, which in certain circumstances could continue, notwithstanding white settlement in Australia. And that's the law of the land as settled by the High Court. So it's not as if this land is being given away to people who don't have a claim to it. There is a National Native Title Tribunal which has been set up in effect to give effect to those decisions of the High Court.
And Malcolm Fraser's Aboriginal Land Rights Act, in fact.
Indeed. So that predated at least Wick. And Mabo too, I think. But the point is that this is the law of the land. It's not Indigenous people's law. It's not Indigenous people taking other people's land. This is a federal tribunal applying the law settled by the High Court where there is a claim, and where there is a claim, then if the claim can be made out and the legal principles properly applied, then the claimants are entitled to the order.
Okay,
but could I also say that native title cannot interfere with anybody else's title, and the majority of cases have lost before the courts.
Which is fair enough.
No white person has ever lost a title and had their title taken away from them and given to an Aboriginal person. That is simply not the case. I know that's popular in some circles to say, but it is not true.
So you're saying it's
Chris,
not Crown land?
Well,
okay, Chris Barn, we'll just bring you in. Thank you.
I wasn't sure there'd be an opportunity tonight to say I agree with Marcia and George, but I'm just said it because it is very hard to get native title approved in Australia. It is, as George said, been set up through successive High Court decisions and then a tribunal, much negotiation through the Parliament, and it is right to say that there were owners of Australia before 1788.
So,
and that
so
can be reflected
quickly
in
go
the
back
law.
to the first question, which is about the Constitution and the bipartisan nature of that.
Yeah, well, we do support, it is bipartisan, and it is not a choice between a symbolic reconciliation and real improvements to living standards. That's not a choice. We can do both, and it is not right that our most important document, our Constitution, does not reflect the fact that we have the longest unbroken link of human civilisation, which is a great honour for Australia. And it's worse than that. It's worse than that. Section 25 of the Constitution says people can be banned from the vote because of their race. In 2014, the Constitution still says that. We can't abide by that.
And that's the very great risk, you see, in this debate. So I hope that Australians come to understand what this debate is about. It is a very tricky thing to change the Constitution. I'm fully aware of what our expert panel report says, and I hope that the wrong question is not put to the Australian people.
Well, that's
But-
right.
and-
I'm just going to interrupt
Absolutely
you
right.
both because we had at least one question who's had it for a while.